strong because of BB.
He's a huge part of what we're trying to do here. He validates what we're trying to do in terms of taking the program to the next level. To bring a parade All-American in, to bring a player of his capabilities and his talents, he elevates everyone else in our basketball program. He's a 6'8" player with 3-man skills. We can step him out, we can post him up. He adds a lot of flexibility to our offense.
And if BB and the boys go down low, they're going to run into CJ and the boys. CJ Black, a lot of block shots. Tennessee averages 9 a game. And then Isaiah Victor elevating his game this year.
To the Victor belongs the spoils, and they changed the look defensively because of Isaiah. You can see the improvement. The numbers quite satisfactory for Jerry Green. I think he needs a big game today, particularly on the defensive end.
But most of you probably don't know that much about USF. They've already won a conference game at Marquette. How good are they? We've got a chance to find out here today.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by the complete line of 1999 Lincoln automobiles. Lincoln, what a luxury car should be.
With the holiday looming, a very important ball game for both of these schools today. Tennessee trying to stay in the top 25. They were actually surprised they did stay this week. CJ Black is their shot blocker. He has 132 in just over 2 years of play. He is a big force, a 6'8" junior out of Chattanooga for Jerry Green. And for South Florida, down there in their lineup, Shadrack Jenkins. How about this guy? A 6'4" senior guard, their only senior, 14 rebounds in his last ball game. Last year, he was the first ever guard to lead USF in rebounding. The Bulls in their home whites, trimmed in green and gold. The Volunteers in their orange. It's the SEC and Conference USA today. And it's going to belong to the home team. Seth Greenberg, third year here, had some pretty decent years at Long Beach State, sort of building this program, Billy, like he did out there.
The healer. The Oral Roberts of college coaching, huh? And right now, the Vols go man-to-man, Bob Carpenter.
Well, of course they do. They do it 90% of the time. Here's B.B. Walden stepping into the paint, losing it. And Bob, it was tipped away by the Volunteers.
That's what makes him pretty tough, Bob. You figure you're a big guy, you're at home down in the box. Jerry Green's guys going to be moved around a little bit.
Walden can step outside, as Billy mentioned. A little short with the three. And the long rebound to the other side will go to Tennessee. So we'll see them set up their motion offense. They are in a bit of a shooting slump. Brandon Wharton is not shooting well at 31%. But he and Tony Harris, one of the best backcourts in the SEC and maybe the country when they finally get it warmed up.
Nice little post pass. Wharton's got to light it up a little bit.
Hathaway the miss, and C.J. Black on the back door.
A little beach volleyball, huh? One side of the net. Yeah, that may be a problem physically, pushing him on there. Here's a little trap, something Seth Greenberg worked on.
Cedric Smith, the leader. Black, good defensive rebounding position. Hathaway a touch, and C.J. Black comes up with it after a scramble. The Bulls continue to go after him, and Tennessee will end up with a basketball.
Bob, some arms, some bows being extended there. It's going to be physical under the rim, and the difficulty for Seth Greenberg, I think, physically, not the bodies necessary. That's going to wear on them in the second half.
Boy, he's got some injuries. Scott Johnson, the 6'10" forward, out for the year. Hurt his ACL against Central Michigan after having a great game against Texas. Down to Black, a high-risk pass. He manages to bounce it out off B.B. Walden, and the Volunteers will have it with 13 on the shot clock.
And you can see the little man-to-man, the blitzing of the dribble. Harris not getting free. You mentioned Scott Johnson. Brad Greenberg, who does the color here for his brother, was talking about his ability. It's a sad loss. What a talent.
Hanging and unable to knock it down was Brandon Ward, and he was out of bounds when he actually tipped it back in.
He's got to light it up playing that off guard. Harris, one of those great penetrators, can turn the corner. It's fun watching this team. They're struggling a little bit, but don't forget, the losses have been on the road, Bob.
USF, a high-powered offensive team so far, averaging 75 a game. That was Hathaway with the tip away and the loose ball for Tony Harris. He takes on Jenkins and spins it off the glass.
How savvy is he, huh? Old Jenkins, who's got strength and elevation. Great body control.
Volunteers on top early by 4 as we've played 2 minutes here in Tampa.
Got to run their stuff and don't settle. They have a tendency to look for the jumper too soon, I think, in looking at tape.
Chauncey Asbury, the miss there. So nothing happening offensively for the home team so far. A big-time opponent comes onto their floor. A lot of the students are gone, so maybe not the atmosphere they would normally have for a game of this magnitude. And we have a Tennessee foul.
I think it may be black on the screen. Now they got it on Wharton, who was guarding the cutter. That's a little slice cut that Tennessee runs. You got to be perfectly still.
Bulls misfiring on their first 4 shots. Tennessee from the field this year, 43%. But they shot only 33 when they lost that game at St. Joe's.
Ooh, what a step in. The big body down there. The ability to move and get in position. CJ getting the puppy set. And once again, the quick hitter, not the patience. Didn't really run anything. You can just see the little reckless maneuver. You got to protect that baseline. And BB trying to do a lot of things early here.
And he ran into 6'8", 255 right there to get that charge. So not even a shot on that trip down the floor for the Bulls of USF. Running the offense, Tony Harris, SEC Newcomer of the Year last year. There's the great freshman Vincent Yarborough. He's starting to warm it up. Good defense by Chauncey Asbury.
Asbury right there. Yarborough may be right. He didn't think he touched it last, but you got to protect the dribble. Now, you're right. I saw him in the high school All-American game. A great talent, and trying to find your way is difficult too, Bob. Where do you fit in with this team?
Here's Jenkins. Tennessee, a club that a lot have forecast to actually win the SEC. Not a lot of that talk in the last 2 or 3 weeks because of Kentucky looking so good.
Boy, they sure have.
Boy.
And ground down on the box. He's more of a post-up guy.
Walden, a good look to him. Ball rims out. And it looks like we've got a grab from behind on Shadrack Jenkins. We talked about his rebounding. He was down there fishing around for an offensive board. Instead, he got the grab.
And he can get up. Strong, great elevation. Brad Greenberg, who I mentioned earlier, calls him a power point guard. And with that physique, he can be anything he wants. Seth still straight up man-to-man. He's going to throw some wrinkles today. Nice show. See how they blitz the dribbler? Nice pick by Black.
Yarborough the switch to Brendan Wharton. Way short from Tony Harris. And then Wharton paws away to get it back for the Volunteers. He finds Harris. Dribble penetration. The finger roll, and he failed to put it over the front of the iron. And the Tennessee foul on C.J. Black.
And Harris a little upset with himself. A great maneuver. He's incredible breaking down the defense, and maybe not the strength to get it up over the 10, but not the kind of foul you want from C.J. though.
Rebounding Tennessee 6-1 over South Florida so far. We're almost 4 minutes in, and the home team has not been able to score.
And run something, Bob. That's what
until now.
A nice little high-low there. Walden, you can see. Got to help as Jenkins fell.
C.J. Black.
I think
showing
Walden,
good patience in there, and that could be 2 on BB.
Yeah, that changes their game. He's got to stay on the floor. It also may change the type of defense that Seth Greenberg's going to run.
His second, 13th foul.
So that foul comes 4 minutes and 1 second into the game, 2 on BB.
One thing Tennessee will do, they can play a power game, utilize the big guys, the bulk down inside. You can see the little scrape by Walden. And once in a while, in looking at Tennessee's games, they have a tendency to settle for the jumper as well. And all of a sudden, the big guys don't get the touches, and they get out of sync.
Number 11, Ultron Texas.
So a pretty good game for C.J. Black so far. 4 points, 4 rebounds. Home team off to a slow start, and the Volunteers lead by 4. Well, the home team only 1 out of 6 so far. Numbers, the Yankees didn't have to worry about a whole lot this year. The boss is in the house. Tampa Bay resident George Steinbrenner.
Loves his sports. What a great year. You did a number of the games as well. New York was delightful for that guy. He didn't bother calling Joe much this year.
No.
He was in overdrive, huh?
And the Yankees really not doing much during the offseason. Why bother with the best team in baseball and maybe in recent baseball history?
Will Clemens get that kind of money? It's in your league.
Well, Randy Johnson got it. Kevin Brown got it.
Yes, Cy Young Award. Here's that 1-3-1. Big concern for Seth Greenberg. He's got him in the right spots.
Asbury rolls it in.
Nice deployment. And they walk through that yesterday, as you saw. Made sure everybody understood where to be on each catch.
So the Bulls on the board again, down by 2. They've scored their last 2 trips down the floor.
And Green on the floor, good outside shooter. What a valuable guard sub.
That's number 3, Richard Lee, running the Tennessee offense, their best athlete overall. Here's Hathaway back on the wing for Brandon Wharton. We're going to watch him shoot. How eager will he be to let it fly today? C.J. Black the fall away. The USF rebound for Cedric Smith, and Shadrack Jenkins will bring it down.
So you take good shots, everybody has balance. That's what's essential.
Ball won't fall for the right side for Chauncey Asbury.
Boy, Hathaway, all orange, that big back going up for that pill. Here's a nice post pass. Finish it, CJ.
Asbury gambled for the steal.
You can't gamble like that. Nobody at home. You're selling out totally. Always want somebody back. Look at this pass. Great
2-on-1. Altron Jackson the miss.
Is that what you want against it, you think, Bob?
I think you want to lay up at the end of that play.
Yeah, maybe back it out if you're going to settle for a jumper. Good skip.
Richard Lee on top. Brandon Wharton penetrating, hanging, the left-hander, and he just can't get his shots to drop these days.
I just don't think he lingers enough with the hand. He's got a little nice run here, but a tough look.
Jenkins had the ball hit the glass, lucky to get it back. Altron Jackson, and now he's missed 2 in a row.
Pretty good composure here. No break. Fan it out and get organized.
Aaron Green out on top. One of Kevin O'Neal's recruits. They get it down to Hathaway. He switches to the left hand and can't knock it down. Now South Florida, 2 out of 10. They need a good trip down the floor. Not because they're way behind. They just need to get something going on.
Tennessee's really had some good opportunities, but you're right. I just think they got to run their stuff. They run some beautiful things. Back screens, slice cut, fills, duck-ins.
Nice seal. Hathaway, he didn't recover in time as they got the bounce pass down there to 75-63 last weekend. One of those crossover games as they play out of the National Division of Conference US play and took care of Marquette out of the American.
And Bob, that game a preview for the NCAA as they had the various committees in to check out the building.
Yeah, a little dry run.
Yeah.
Huh?
And Seth said it's a tough building to shoot, but the last 10 minutes they called the timeout and said, hey, let's get going, and they stepped it up. Here's Isaiah Victor, who we mentioned, valuable contributor now. They bring him in off the Pines.
Redshirt sophomore, posting up. Doesn't need to, as Vincent Yarborough knocks it down.
He can shoot from any borough. I don't know if they gave that a 3 or not. They got the foul. Frazier.
Andrick Frazier. That was a 3 by Yarborough a moment ago.
Well, we got the a little block out here with the third official. I knew there was a reason we shouldn't have 3. But Frazier was shot over, and that's what Yarborough had a good read on. And then playing with the sore foot. Andrick not on top of his game. Turned his ankle against Marquette.
Arthur Reeves will check in for South Florida. Raheem Brown will take a seat.
For Tennessee, number 14, Tony Harris.
Vincent Yarborough on the near side for Richard Lee.
Yeah, that back screen and pop out. Such a dangerous play to defend.
Here's Victor. A little long with it. Tough offensive rebound. Too tall with his shot was Torrey Harris. And it'll stay with the Volunteers on the baseline.
You know, when you get that close to the rim, you just don't throw the ball up, Bob. And in games I've watched Tennessee, they don't shoot to finish. They just toss it up to go after it. And good defense, but you'll see even the attempt real high off the glass. You got to convert some of those.
Well short with the 3, Richard Lee. Torrey Harris able to pick up the loose ball down there.
They keep bringing the bulk, though. Torrey, 6'10". What would you give him? 240 at least. Glad he wasn't at dinner last night. We went over our budget. Big front line, and they're taking advantage. Bulking up down on the block. Nice open look. Inside out, this team's a better team, I think. If they can get a touch inside, but you can just see the space-eating ability of T. Harris.
Torrey Harris, senior, out of Mississippi, first point of the day. Doesn't play a whole lot. He's only scored his 3rd point of the year with that free throw.
Yeah, .2 in only 9 minutes, Bob. I think this team could be dangerous if they get their legs. You get that feeling?
Yeah.
Not playing as well as I think they're capable of. And that's what December's all about, getting better. Good.
Well, they've got a lot of depth. Quick transition for the Bulls. It won't go for Cedric Smith.
And I think Arthur Reeves climbing. No rocks out there, just big backs.
Foul on number 5, Arthur Reeves.
Fouls are piling up, and the missed shots piling up for the home team. Now USF 2 out of 11.
And Seth a little concerned, I think, is the quick jump shot. Got to be a little more patient. Don't always, he wants to attack, but I think he wants to attack with the dribble. Same look here, 1-3-1, counter. And there's a counter.
2 in a row for Vince Yarborough. We're waiting for him to really explode and emerge. Seth Greenberg wants a timeout. And Yarborough with 2 consecutive threes. This is what we expected to see out of him.
Seth went to the 1-3-1. It gives that type of player an opportunity to get an open look. Seth is out of the man-to-man philosophy. Al Balbo was his mentor. We'll talk about that in a moment. But you see the 1-3-1, the reaction from the back, tardy, and Yarborough gets the puppy set quickly. And this is the reaction, unfortunately, for Seth. And I think that the 20-second timeout was to get organized. Getting back to Al Balbo, there's a little connection here. Don DeVoe was at Tennessee. Al Balbo was at Army with Bob Knight, became friendly with Don DeVoe. A lot of the man-to-man principles espoused by those two and Seth Greenberg attributable to one of the great names in college and high school basketball, Al Balbo.
And now Seth himself has become known as a very good teacher at the defensive end.
And Al still calls him, straightens him out with a few choice words, I might add. That's it. Nice penetration.
Cedric banking it in.
Smitty, kiss. Now they got nice little timeout because they were shooting jumpers. This is almost like a post situation. Dribble to the 10.
Boy, did they need that basket that time down the floor.
And they switch out now. All the exchanges.
A little long this time from Rashard Lee.
Pretty
Torrey
snap.
Harris. Nicely done.
And you can just see the belly rebound. Body that guy under the rim. Trap the ball. They're going to force the quick hit. They're still going for it.
Yeah, they are not a patient team in this game so far. Torrey Harris on the floor, and a timeout called by Tennessee.
20-second timeout, Tennessee. 20-second timeout, Volunteers.
And Seth's upset, saying he didn't have control of the ball. I can't blame him for arguing, but a heads-up play by Tennessee. Jerry Green. Did you know Jerry when he was with Roy Williams?
Oh, yeah.
I guess you got to know him because you did the Big 8 in those days. And great run.
A Kansas assistant from 88 through 92. Then he had 5 pretty solid years at Oregon. Some can be a tough place to recruit.
Oh, and I think that's why he went to Tennessee, to be honest with you. A chance to that great building. You can see the difficulty is Seth tries to steal a little time with BB. Probably sitting the rest of the half, I would think. Just stay close to the opponent and save that guy.
It's also your chance to help the Salvation Army Soup Kitchen.
Big rebounding advantage for Tennessee so far. And a whistle away from the ball as they set up inside. Looks like Cedric Smith.
Well, they are trying, they being South Florida, chuck on every cut. And Victor gets to the free throw line. They're banging. That's a sort of a pro philosophy in their defense. Don't let somebody sprint through. Make sure there's a body.
1 plus the bonus.
Isaiah Victor with his first points of the day. Out of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. First, they're in the bonus already. This is a young man who can do a lot of things for you off the bench.
And Bob, all Frost team last year, they're looking for a step-out year for him.
There's the dunk down. The quick turnaround. Raheem Brown unable to knock it down. And the defensive rebound and the outlet by Isaiah Victor.
Good
Yarborough waving for the ball. He's not able to hit 3 in a row. Tough offensive rebound down there. Torrey Harris is stopped. Ball hits the very top of the glass from Vegas Davis.
Yeah, that's one of those wishes, and they've had a few of those. Just thrown it up, unable to convert.
9.5 minutes in. It's all Tennessee right now. USF needs B.B. Walden back in. We'll see him when we come back. Team South Florida 7. The Volunteers trying to erase some of those bad times they've had on the road so far this year. We saw their first game of the year in New Mexico against Arizona when they lost by 1.
Dickey's kids, huh? Look at that sign.
Already thinking about that big game tonight.
He's a local guy. Has Tampa Bay tickets. He's the guy to see for Final Four.
We've got 3 more
Duckets.
hoops games tonight on ESPN after the football 1AA championship this afternoon.
And
Here's
BB
Smith, the kick over the left side for Asbury. B.B. Walden setting up down low. The fouls are really piling up for South Florida.
I think that one was on Victor, though.
And will be Isaiah with a leaner.
Yeah, a little gamble here with the 2 fouls, but this is better. Get into the lane, maybe.
Jenkins high off the glass. Jedrick Jenkins with his second field goal.
Now you watch a game, you see when a team comes back on the floor off a timeout. Seth has made some terrific adjustments. They're chucking and ducking. He got him away from that. A little post play to Brown earlier. Now some dribble penetration. And the little change of the look here works.
Straight ahead, John Z. Asbury's got a trailer. He'll do it himself and miss it. Woo.
He will hear about that one. A little egg.
Harris on the wing. Victor. And Seth thought he traveled or charged. He can't believe it on the other side.
He's close to getting one, though. He's got to be careful. They, as well as Tennessee, do a great job stepping in and picking up charges. But this is the 1-3-1 look. Gives an opportunity for a chippy. And unfortunately, maybe that little fumble there cost him.
Isaiah Victor back to the line now to try and complete the three-point play. So 4 for Isaiah.
Tennessee substitution number 43, CJ Black.
You know what was good about that call is Seth would agree with it, where it took place. It was so far under the rim. I sort of like it. And let him play on. If he stepped up out a little further from the hoop, and then call it. Little 2-2-1 look here. Oh, and it works. Long passes like that. Walden running away and not stepping to the ball.
22-9 Tennessee. Harris back on top. Brandon Wharton on the wing for Richard Lee. Volunteers really shuffling the ball around, and Walden blocks C.J. Black on the back door.
Well, a lot of guys wouldn't get involved, but Walden very active.
Not with 2 fouls.
Yeah, exactly. That's a heads-up aggressive play. Excellent pass by Harris, Bob. He can be cute.
Back on top for Tony Harris.
Double down.
Looking to the strong side here. They had everybody on the left side there for a moment. Brandon Wharton penetrating the pull-up. Way off. Not even close, and his shooting woes continue. USF 5 turnovers after that last trip down the floor. Here's Jenkins. Little long with it. Loose ball picked up. Brandon Wharton, maybe a layup will help him out, but he can't hit that one either.
He is really struggling. It's got to be the head, too.
4 on 2. Jenkins switches it. Walden underneath, and he took a bump along with Vincent Yarborough. Those guys played with a young man named Desmond Allison, who's gone on to play for Tubby Smith at Kentucky. Not a bad threesome there.
Not bad at all. Boy, speaking of Tubby, I think they're getting better and better.
Georgia Tech hands full at home tonight. That game's on ESPN this evening at 7:30 Eastern. Loose ball picked up by B.B. Walden, and here come the Bulls. It's down by 11. Underneath, ball slow getting back, and another close-in shot miss. Raheem Brown that time.
What a nice pass by B.B. And Brown's got to knock it down, Bob.
Asbury, nobody comes out to get him. He'll spin in the 3, and Chauncey has 5.
And one of their philosophies is to get Black and/or Hathaway to come out, and they got a timeout here. They got timeout. Yeah, they thought it was a turnover, but they want the big guy.
5 degrees in Bristol today.
Not a bad assignment down here. He's trying to get this program alive. Nice turnout here today. Once again, the 1-3-1 and a little nickel dimer. Oh, as Chauncey Asbury gets nicked for that one. Little tag.
Chauncey with his first on that little reach around with the left hand. And of course, the Volunteers have been shooting free throws quite a while already.
And Bob, the one advantage for Tennessee is they run the same defense in practice, so they're accustomed. You can see the little deflection there. Unfortunately, it would have been going the other way if they didn't get Asbury.
1 plus the bonus.
Vincent Yarborough, last year's All-American to the line. A Naismith finalist. Tennessee 3A Mr. Basketball. They had movement all over the place on the near side prior to the release of the free throw.
You're right, they had a few. I don't know if they got it for Beebe or Jenkins. Jerry Reed hasn't been afraid to have the Miami game. Then they go to St. Joe's, Hawk Hill. Of course, playing Arizona early. You had that game. What was your impressions early against Arizona? I thought they had a right to win it.
Yeah, they could have won it at the end.
Right, and thought they would have a heck of a year. And they can if they continue to improve for Jerry. I asked him about his relationship with Roy. He said, Roy used to watch me play. How many guys would admit that? Great pals, great respect for one another. Roy Williams and Jerry Green.
Vince Yarborough short with that free throw, and Chauncey Asbury clears it away for the Bulls of USF. Jenkins looking inside.
Great denial.
They don't work the ball around the perimeter very much. They go for the quick hit every time down the floor.
And Hathaway gets it going that way for them. Nice deflection. He's had a few of those in the first half. Nice cut.
Yarborough for Harris. Tough shot. Raheem Brown had it ripped away by C.J. Black. Tennessee has the possession arrow. They will keep it. How about the strength of C.J. Black at 6'8", 255.
And that strength gets him in position to steal the ball like that. Get those bodies moving. You can see a very thin South Florida team.
Officials timeout. 7:14 first half. It's been tough for the home team so far. They're lurking. They need to get something going. Bulls basketball here in Tampa at the Sundome. They're literally going to raise the roof and put a new one on here next year. I'll look at the top 25. Shows that Conference USA and the SEC very well represented in the top 5 with the Bearcats and the Wildcats.
And Cincinnati, very impressive.
And coming up, talking about ranked teams, how about number 4 Kentucky and Tech? Delta Airlines Classic, Georgia Dome 7:30, back cuts at Maryland at 9:30, and then after Sports Center, we've got the Vegas shootout, number 3 Cincinnati against UNLV. Bobby Huggins taking his team on the road quite a bit this week. Came up with that big one Wednesday night in Minnesota.
Once again, Brandon unable to convert, and the backcourt is bare.
Asbury catches up with it. Alley-oop!
What a save. Mike Chauncey. And Brown bails him out with a great run. That's why you got to hustle all the time.
The Bulls back to within 7. Here's Harris. Little 14-footer. It won't bounce in for him. BB's got to be careful in there. Hathaway rejected by Raheem Brown. It's the running of the Bulls now. Here they go. Shadrack Jenkins. He's fouled before the shot.
It's not quite pom-pom.
Cedric Smith looking inside to Jackson. Ultron. 0 for 3 now off the bench. USF a little frustrated. They've had several close-in chances. That's 3 layups that I count. They've been unable to spin in there.
And Altron's one of those guys that dives to the rim in a beautiful fashion. And Death has taught his guys when the ball is baseline around the block and the guy overplays, make that dive.
Here's Jackson again. Little nick of the rim, and this time he gets the second chance effort and draws the bounce.
Now this is a youthful team when you think of it. 4 softs, 4 freshmen on this team.
First time they've ever been 6-0, but they've got their hands full today. Alley-oop, too tall. Isaiah Victor able to get up there and keep it under control.
Does Havers have some blow-by?
A little bit short from Aaron Green. Yarborough the one-handed answer.
And the reaction defensively not good. Nobody got a body on Vincent.
And he's got 10 here in the first half. Maybe his breakout game today.
He's got ability. And just fitting in, I think, is the dilemma for Jerry Green. Who's going to contribute? And I think Wharton's got to play bigger and better. Give him more points and be solid.
Tennessee now with 8 second chance points in this game. Yarborough the tip away there as he got in the passing lane, and the Bulls will throw it in with 15 seconds on the shot clock. 4.5 minutes before halftime. 20-second timeout for Seth Greenberg. So the coaches of Berth both burning some of their 20s here in the first half.
Seth knows he has to.
This club.
You saw them the other night against Kansas, DePaul. They were impressive.
Hey, like this game today, the only thing that stopped him, the whistle and those fouls.
Here's a little 1-4 set, a little stagger for Jenkins. He likes to post up in this set.
Jackson thought about penetrating. Shot clock expires. They evidently did get it away in time from the hands of Shadrack Jenkins.
They ran it, but Tennessee jammed everything in the lane.
Baseline right, nothing there for Isaiah Victor. Back on top, it's Tony Harris. Tennessee doing a great job on the offensive glass today. They've had 11 offensive rebounds. Green, and the tip away by Cedric Smith. Shot clock down to 12.
Cedric, very physical defender. Always in a lane, looking to help. Look at him looking for the pinch dribble here.
Jenkins staying with Harris. Gets in traffic. 4-on-1. You got to score here.
There you go, coach. You got it. Draw the D and kick it back. Nice play by Jackson.
Cedric Smith in transition. And the Bulls have it back to 9 at 28-19. Victor, that ball might have been tipped. Looked like Chauncey Asbury got up there with it. Here's Jenkins down the middle.
Good balance.
Smith for 3. Well off. Easy rebound, Vince Yarborough.
A little bit of a settle. I think Seth's got to get somebody to score on the block for this team. It's a nice team. Could have a good year. Without Johnson, a different kind of a look.
Hendrick Frazier, top of your screen. You saw him going to the table, playing with a bad ankle. He'll check in momentarily. Here's Yarborough. He's had a hot first half. Green for Victor. Double. Draws the double down by Brown. So who's open?
Pretty read.
Torrey Harris.
Torrey, not that easy many nights, huh? Or many afternoons, but nice find by Victor.
2:35 before halftime. Tennessee by 11.
A little small change that far. You don't want to reach
6. He's got 4 rebounds with a steal today. Got them both with the clock stop. 2:29 before halftime. Despite all the problems, the Bulls are still hanging around single digits. 30-21 Volunteers. You see Tennessee, Conference USA, South Florida on a Saturday afternoon down in Tampa right before Christmas. 30-21 the Vols by 9. They've had a couple of double-digit leads so far today.
Well, Isaiah Victor's ability, we noted on the open, the double, the peak, and the dive. I mean, that was great looking basketball. The finish rather easy for Torrey Harris, a solid contributor. Not a bad sub, would you say?
What a guy to come off the bench at 6'9", 210, just a sophomore. Redshirted a couple of years ago. High post who can drive it and do the job down low as well.
And Seth comes with the 1-3-1 look, trying to shake up the Vols set.
Wharton to look down to Victor. Brandon looking to switch it. High post, Richard Lee. Open on the wing was Green. And he just nicks the iron with the missed 3.
Can't beat the look for Jerry Green.
Smith.
Not a good look here.
Now forcing it to Asbury. And then Cedric Smith. So I don't know what kind of shot that was. It was kind of like a one-handed hook. And that looked from way out there.
And Asbury with the quick look. Run something, guys.
Victor. Too weak off the glass. Torrey Harris keeps it alive. Lee let it go right through for Wharton, who takes a trip from Cedric Smith.
Yeah, Shad just couldn't get his feet in position. A lot of offensive opportunities off missed shots.
Courtyard by Marriott halftime report coming up at halftime here. Larry Beal at the desk today, and we've got a lot to talk about. We've got football coming up later on ESPN. Georgia Southern, UMass in the 1AA championship. DePaul, Louisville later. Kentucky, Georgia Tech, Princeton, Maryland, and Cincinnati, UNLV.
Close those exits, huh? Down in Maryland. A lot of back doors, as you noted.
Brandon Wharton, boy, he is really fighting it right now. Altron Jackson back for USF. And Del Baker, number 32 for Tennessee. The older brother of Vince Yarborough. We saw Del step off the bench out in Albuquerque and drain a couple of threes.
The stroke is in the family. I spoke with Chris Ferguson about Brandon Wharton, and it's just he's got to fight this thing out himself. get relaxed, keep his composure. Too good an offensive player to be struggling.
Andrick Frazier with the locks flying, handling the offense here for USF, playing with a badly sprained left ankle that kept him out of the Central Florida game. He got hurt against Marquette. Here's Jackson, the kick. Brown, a lot of arc. Jackson, strong rebound. They just can't finish. Underneath, Asbury. Finally, Jordan the other night.
And you want to stay close to him. You know why?
Why is that?
He wants to be a lawyer and or a sports agent. You never know. You have Chauncey out there. He'll be the best jump shooting agent in the world, I think.
At 6'6", he can post up a few general managers. Down to the final minute of the first half. Del Baker with the penetration, the kick for Lee, and Rashard Lee opens up a little Tennessee breathing room with that three. They lead by a dozen now.
And Bob, what they're getting more is a little more of a flow inside outside. They're not getting away too far in one direction. Good use of the curl.
Good deflection in the lane by Rashard Lee. Got out in that passing lane and bumped it out. 19 in the shot clock, 38.8 on the game clock.
So Jerry Green's guys hold you to 38% field goal percentage. That's you can see that here. I mean, this is not an easy team to score on.
They held St. Joe's to 31, but they only shot 33 and lost that game.
Nice dish by Frazier.
Reeves waiting. Arthur Reeves with his first basket of the game, the sophomore out of Lake Butler, Florida, and he's a Fort Union military guy.
And Andrick Frazier, here they got his. They play a nice open style of basketball. Today, I think they've shot the ball quicker than I've seen his teams in tape.
9-point game, final 20 seconds, so Tennessee can wind it down again here, as they only give up one after the offensive foul.
This 1-3-1 did him a great service last year.
Brandon Wharton off with the shot. Torrey Harris underneath. Raheem Brown rejects him at the buzzer.
The score at the end of the first half.
Pretty good defensive stop for USF. They can take that into the locker room.
They dodged one with Wharton's penetration.
But at the half, it's 34-25 Tennessee, and Larry Beal, maybe some more PT for BB will help USF in the second half.
Absolutely, Bob. And you know, the Bulls of South Florida came in at 6-0, having scored victories earlier in the season over Texas and Marquette. Tennessee proving to be a tougher customer so far. We saw Raheem Brown with a big block at the end of the half, coming up on the courtyard by Mary at halftime to lead the Vols to victory. They've got a 34-25 lead. Bob Carpenter, Bill Raftery with the second half when we come back.
34-25 Tennessee over South Florida. Shooting has not been a highlight, to say the least, today. More on that in a minute. But we have had a couple of nice moments. And how about Aaron Green for Tennessee?
You've been harsh. A little slip pass without the end. Victor has stepped up and helped his team. But Green with a nice slide by, gave him a spark. And here's the entry pass. And how about the double? A dive to the tin. Nobody rotates. The easy completion at the end as Torrey runs down the other end. Not too many easy trips for either team.
These two teams are combined at 19 for 72 from the floor in the first half of play. Free throw shooting is fine. The turnover's not a big factor, but whoever gets hot will probably win this game. And despite all the problems, USF within 11. And we'll see how much time number 14, BB Walden, can get. He was limited to 2 free throws, 1 rebound, and 1 assist in 9 minutes of the first half, sitting down a lot of time with those 3 fouls.
Bob, could you imagine at halftime saying to your players, look, let's guard real well, and if we make 1 out of 3, we're going to win this thing.
Exactly.
They get up to 33%. They've had some good looks, but flicking, and here's that 1-3-1. Both teams have used it with impact.
Tennessee with possession. Volunteers 6-3 on the year. A badly needed road win for them, and USF trying to stay perfect with that 6-0 start. CJ Black down in the corner. Just barely got iron with that one. And over the baseline, USF will get it back as the Bulls get the defensive stop they were looking for.
And Tennessee, not a good trip at that time. Cross guard to guard a number of times. Nothing really definitive at the block.
Chadrick Jenkins on top. Chauncey Asbury. All 10 starters in the game. And there's a 3 from BB. B. Walden his first field goal of the game.
And be the D now. Don't get that fourth one. They need a good half out of him. Outstanding prospect.
And that quickly, it's a 6-point game. Uh-oh. Barely saved by Brandon Wharton.
Now that's using it all. Harris trying to get into the gap there with a dribble drive.
Yarborough in the corner. Short with it. Rebound. Cedric Smith of the Bulls. They get out in transition.
Nice.
A good look to Brown. Raheem can't knock it down. BB was there for the follow. BB, you better get out of there.
Doesn't make sense, BB.
David Zimroth was up off the bench, almost in his face. The assistant coach almost reaching out to pull him away. And you don't blame him.
If they don't think, you got to help them think. Nice pump fake.
Smith, finger roll, short. Raheem Brown can't knock it in. Boy, the Bulls are getting all kinds of chances here.
Well, the Bulls are getting to the trough, but they're not drinking.
Well, this should be a basket. 2 on none. C.J. Black goes flashing by, and on a rather funny-looking slow-motion type break, Chauncey Asbury gets the basket.
And they're right there now, down 4 as the 22nd timeout is down.
Big win on the road at Marquette.
And right away, they put him in a nice play. What a call by the bench by Terry. They put Yarborough right at the top, pass, a layup.
I know you love that, Billy, when they come out of a timeout, run something nice and get a basket.
Absolutely. And there's a little counter as Walden
For Florida State with Pat Kennedy, and David, of course, was on Pat's staff there.
NBA player. I hope he progresses to that extent. He'll get a little stronger. Very mobile. Got a variety of shots and positions.
And there's a lot of high school talent in this state of Florida.
Walden almost got another one. It sure is.
Harris unable to knock it down. The follow underneath. Looked like C.J. Black.
Was it? They've been trying to move Hathaway and Black. They got Walden being played by Black. Tough matchup for him.
Second chance. Smith short. Jenkins can't finish. Man, unbelievable misses down low by South Florida today.
And you got to attribute to Tennessee, though. I mean, the little body, little nudge.
Well, don't think they didn't hear about that block shot capability. Volunteers averaging 9 a game. Sometimes you'll mentally adjust your shot when nobody's there.
A lot of flinching goes on out there.
Brown takes a look. Hathaway out on him. B.B. Walden traveled.
Trying to do a couple of things. I was thinking of Brown out there. If it's Johnson, that was a 3-point shot. But the inability to knock shots down, it's frustrating. All the prayers don't help. You got to do it on your own.
And there's a palm of the ball by Tony Harris. One of the points of
shot is set. I actually coached against Seth Greenberg. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I wonder if he taught any of my intricate, stole them and now teaching any of those intricate looks.
Asbury. Rejected by Hathaway.
I thought it was on the way down.
That ball was released by a good distance out for the basket. Harris for Yarborough. Plenty of time to square up. And Vince Yarborough's having a 15-point day.
Well, he's not a busboy. He's not a waiter. But, oh, what a setup by Tony Harris. The quick feet, the ability to get into the action, and very unselfish. That's one he could have taken himself, but he knows Vincent Yarborough, with a solid first half, continues to contribute. What do you think on this one? Tough. The reaction starts a fast break, but the downward flight, I think South Florida got a little knocked on that one.
Tennessee answers the 5-0 South Florida run with a 7-0 run of their own to take the 11-point lead 4 minutes out of halftime. So Jerry Green called that timeout at the 17:56 mark, Billy. They ran the play. They got Yarborough the layup, and then they reel off 5 more. So he really did turn things around with that whistle.
And he got Tony Harris to start penetrating just a little bit more and find people. And that sort of helps your offensive look when your guard can do that. Nice look.
In a minute and a half, they go 7-0. The backdoor answer by Chauncey Asbury, and Chauncey's into double figures.
And Cedric Smith, what a wonderful look. And that's that diagonal pass you can get on occasion. Good cover by Smith in the back with Hathaway.
Brandon Wharton thought about the three for a moment. Harris does knock down the three. Tony Harris with 5 on the day. They're the top returning backcourt in the SEC. 29 a game between them last year.
And they're having a little conference here because of the bows being thrown. You get the feeling now that Tennessee's got a rhythm against this 1-3-1. This is a good time, I think, for Seth to take it off and go man, even though he's concerned, I would think, with Walden's foul problems.
Jerry Green's team with that make by Harris, 5 of 13 from three-point range. And the Volunteers back on top by a dozen. Team matching its biggest lead by 12 as they got the 3 from Tony Harris a moment ago. Some of the stuff that Don Rutledge was warning them about a moment ago.
Yeah, Bobby, you can see the right side of the screen, a little pushing and shoving, and Don's been around, as you well know, some big games, Final Fours, making sure that the youngsters don't get carried away.
Don Rutledge, Tom Eads, and Keith McGuire on the officiating crew today. That's Tom Eads over there on the far side by Seth. Chadrick Jenkins handles it for the Bulls of South Florida.
And a little change on the timeout to man-to-man. Nice
E.B.
finish.
Walden.
Pretty.
How many shots have they missed in the paint? It'll stay with USF.
Too many to answer you. I don't have the number.
Wow.
But you get that close, you got to feel good. As a shot at Don there, who has been around.
Well, a little home game for Don Rutledge today out of
change.
Orlando.
For a change.
These guys are unbelievable. They work 4 or 5 nights a week. Over the back, you could see that one coming. Raheem Brown with his first.
Now, why is it, Bob, guys miss a shot and feel they've got to go rip somebody's collar or head off? It's amazing. You missed a turn, get to the other end. Contribute that way.
15 minutes to go. Tennessee in great position for that first road win. The heartbreaker at New Mexico against Arizona. That was considered a neutral court. Wally Zerbiak and company took care of him at Miami of Ohio. They were really impressed with him. And then that heartbreaker by 2 at St. Joe's when they shot so poorly.
A nice move by Seth Greenberg. Went man-to-man now after Tennessee had settled. That's the arrow again because it was a loose basketball.
South Florida fans say, wait a minute, why is it the arrow look like a clean steal to us?
Seth saying it was the defense that got it, but that's the interpretation of the rule that's become a problem.
Yeah. And they will change the arrow here once the ball is touched in bounds. Trouble in the backcourt for Chauncey Asbury. Straight ahead to B.B. Walden. Jenkins to his left. Volunteers swarming. Yarborough, and then B.B. grabs him for his 4th.
Oh, my goodness. How about the small change fouls that he's had? 2 come to mind away from the basket. They're trying to pick up the charge. And this one here, trying to give it up, actually, as he gets settled. But the long arms, Vincent Yarbrough, he has played very well on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, this is what they've been looking for from Vince. So B.B. sits down. Seth cannot afford to leave him out too long.
He doesn't have many options. We chronicled the injuries. Andrick Frazier can't even play. He played a few minutes with the bad foot. And that's almost a 7-man rotation.
Yarborough the dump down to Isaiah Victor. Sweet into the paint, nicely under control. That's 8 for Isaiah. And the biggest lead today, now 14 for the Volunteers.
And here's the trap working.
Brandon Wharton for Harris.
Nice unselfish pass.
Victor again. It won't go down, but he did draw the foul.
And they have picked apart size-wise. Earlier, Asbury on the post-up by Victor. Size differential, easy completion. This one hit on the baseline. Unselfish as Harris off the jump shot spotted him.
Isaiah Victor. Not a starter, but leading the Volunteers at 14 a game. With 9 rebounds, getting about 27 minutes. He's had 3 double-doubles this year. And the rebound by Cedric Smith off the miss. He's got 9 points with 2 boards today. Does Isaiah?
Whoa, look at that.
And again, Victor deflecting that ball.
It's got to be a deflection. They got it wrong. They got it wrong. Not enough officials. Oh. Not a good pass to begin with, though. You're down 15. You got to be solid. Here comes a small change by Brown, number 2. The pass goes right through, and you just see that little deflection. You see that? Isaiah Victor got a piece of it.
And it didn't look like Chauncey Asbury hit it on the way out.
No. Tough one. Let's see if they can counter with good defense here.
Wharton for Yarborough. The dump down to Isaiah.
Tough match there. They should go back to him.
Brandon Wharton needs this one, but he's short with it. Hathaway keeps it alive. Back to Wharton. Oh, my. You really got a feel for him. Great looks. He just can't hit a shot.
I think he's 4 for 31, Bob, with my math.
And today, after going 0 for 6 in the first half, he's missed 3 more.
He's then 12 for 32. Excuse me.
Wow.
Excuse me, 4 of 30. Let me get it straight.
Well, it all means about the same thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, he is struggling.
7 minutes out of halftime now. Tennessee in control by 15. Victor baseline left. Almost behind the glass, it seemed, when he let it go. Down the floor it goes. Brown and the trailer, Ultron. Jackson can't knock it down. And they still can't hit shots in the paint.
I don't know whether it's just Russian, lacking composure, the wrong guys getting in position to counter, but they have had fruitless trips. I mean, this should be an automatic quick deuce. Right here, to step through, you get just that little slice, threw it off. Ultron unable to squeeze it and finish. Nice run by Jackson, but no results.
Number 5, Aaron Green.
Aaron Green back for the Volunteers. Good spark plug off the bench. Brandon Wharton will take a seat. This is a man who's number 2 all-time, Wharton, on the Tennessee three-point list, behind only Allen Houston.
It is amazing, and the correct number 4 of 32 right now, Bob. Just to
Chauncey Asbury well short. Harris, Hathaway, came back down with it. Richard Lee.
Too many fresh bodies, size winning out right now.
Little problem with the net they'll have to straighten out down there. Hendrick Frazier for Chauncey Asbury. Left side, Smith. Off the glass, and they finally got a layup.
Great looking fast break there. Break the press, turn it into an easy deuce.
They've got time. Still 12 minutes to go. Jackson goes to the table. Arthur Reeves to the table. But over the last 8 minutes, Tennessee 15-9. Here's Cedric Smith with a clean steal.
They can do it with good aggressive defense. Green took a shot, but they've been switching automatically. And a nice step out to deflect by Smith.
49-36.
It won't go away. This is impressive.
Harris for Lee. Hathaway.
Well, he saw
Brown fronting him. He just leaned into him and swept him out of there. And then Hendrick Frazier reaches in to hack Richard Lee on the way out.
And I believe that's number 3. But Hathaway just backed his man right into the lane. It's illegal. It's a clear out. And there's no way South Florida can compete physically if that's going to be permitted. Watch the back way now, all the way. Clears the path. And at the end of this, on the miss, as you noted, Frazier with the little giveaway. And I'm impressed with his courage. Playing hurt, not the speed or the ability to do some things as the point guard for Seth.
Well, Richard Lee, his 6th point of the day.
Reeves. And number 11, Ultron, Texas.
Torrey Harris is back, number 40. He gave them some good quality minutes in the first half. 6 points. 6 rebounds in 9 minutes, his best half of the year. Hathaway with a seat. Tennessee with 22 points off the bench today. USF really doesn't expect much off the bench because they are so short depth-wise.
And Bob, they played 2 nights ago when you think of it. Really couldn't work very hard, don't have the bodies. they've had a manager, Joe Willis, actually on the floor.
Disappointed in his Bulls, but maybe he can look forward to the Vikings on ESPN tomorrow night. But first, let's talk some more hoops and some more for football as well. Coming up next, how about Georgia Southern and UMass?
That committee, the AD at UMass, and told the committee, you know, we're pretty good early in the year. I guess he was right on the money.
Yep. And then 4 more basketball games tonight. DePaul, Louisville, Conference USA at 5 o'clock today.
And here's their man-to-man looking to trap.
Frazier for Reeves. Andrick Frazier had a bad back problem earlier. Now the ankle. Lost both of his grandparents recently. A lot on his mind and a lot of pain he's playing in.
Oh, nice little maneuver here as Jenkins able to knock it down. I spoke to Andrick before the game, and he said his dad wouldn't be here today because of the passing of his grandfather. Playing hurt in a lot of ways.
They're only down by 12. 10:40 to go. Green into traffic. The dump for Victor, and the Bulls come up with it. Altron Jackson. Here's Frazier.
Nice pass.
A no-looker. Altron knocks it down.
And you haven't said this too often. Gets the roll.
Yeah.
Oh, they have had some tough trips. Nice patience by the point guard, Andrick Frazier.
They've got it back to 10 with just over 10 minutes remaining.
They got a little toughness, a little bit like Seth. He's
away from the ball. A Tennessee foul.
Control now. Slippage occurring.
Yep. He had a 14-point lead just a minute or two ago. Now it's down to 10. Clock runs under 10 with this South Florida possession. Frazier, the penetration. Jackson from the baseline. Jenkins thinking about the 3. Jackson,
nice pass.
The tip. Asbury. They're down by 8.
What a play by Jackson. Oh, big time tip.
And everybody went to the ball. Chauncey Asbury, the only man underneath. Life on the road for the Volunteers. It's been a heartbreaking experience this year. Victor stripped. No foul. 19 on the shot clock when the Volunteers throw it back in.
Boy, they're showing a lot of emotion, banging and chucking. And Seth said this is an interesting group. They compete, they get after it, and we play hard.
They've had some quality wins at Marquette on the road. Knocked off Texas in Austin by 17. Richard Lee.
See, now, air ball. And Bob, I don't understand that. Victor was on the block. They passed him up for a 22-footer. And get it in. This is that flow that you're looking for with a team.
Here's Jackson.
Oh,
trying to force it. Running is Harris.
Pretty dish.
Tony for Richard Lee.
Oh, was that a major league? The simplistic passes that Harris make are the most impressive facet of his game.
Asbury rejected by Harris. Underneath the follow, Shadrick Jenkins, and he's into double figure.
They got a foul on Victor here. Not necessary as Reeves offers it up.
That's Isaiah. Crowd of just under 5,000 here. A lot of the students are gone. Per capita, they're making a lot of noise.
It is a loud building.
They'll be here in force on the Deuce when Louisville visits on January 10th. And how about February 25th, one of our Thursday night Conference USA games? Bob Huggins, Kenyon Martin, Melvin Levitt, and the Cincinnati Bearcats will be in this building. That's one we're looking forward to already.
I think they'll fill it. They'll move the curtain up top. Get all the bodies in. And right now, what a good time for Brandon Wharton to play under control and start knocking down that jumper.
They find Asbury on the inbounds play. Frazier thought about the 3. The jump stop, and the ball's out of bounds.
Everything but, huh? Not bad penetration, just didn't control it.
But the Bulls are back in it, down by 8, just under 9 minutes to go.
Well, Seth said we'd show. We know we got injuries, but they're not canceling the game.
So let's see how Tennessee answers the 8-3 South Florida run.
Usually inside right now.
Yarborough, the dump down, the gamble, and the steal by Asbury. He couldn't get the outlet pass, and then a USF foul.
And how about the finish at the end of that? Hathaway ringing the bell, but valuing the ball. Nice play by the low post defense to strip and then give it right back.
16 fouls on the home team now. Tennessee with 5. Yarborough throws it in high post for Hathaway, gives it off to Brandon Wharton. Lee on the wing. That's Yarborough. High on the dribble. Drills it from the right baseline.
Big time pull-up.
17 for the freshman today.
Who said he doesn't have a medium game, huh? 3 or pull-up?
Frazier working on that bad ankle. 5-second call.
Now, got to get somebody free and get it off the floor.
No contest when the freshmen are matched up numbers-wise today.
And unfortunately for BB, it's been a foul situation all game long, as you see the 4, but Vincent has stepped it up a notch too.
BB reminds me of Quentin Richardson and Lawrence the other night, standing up. So every time the coach sees him, they say, hey, get me back out there. Here's Wharton.
Fall form.
Still can't hit. That's C.J. Black underneath. Both teams have finally climbed up into the 30% range in shooting. Offense warming up. Tennessee by 10. 8 minutes to go. Center tonight. Bob Carpenter, Bill Raftery at the Sun Dome in Tampa. USF desperately trying to see if they have enough to get back even in this one.
Full court pressure, easily handled by the University of South Florida. Now they got to run some stuff, I think. A little double here at the top, looking to duck in and post up on Wharton.
B.B. Walden still not back in the game. They're using a lot of energy trying to come back here.
See Hathaway jam things up on Jenkins, looking to help.
Jenkins draws a lot of company. Cedric Smith, the shot fake, the kiss, a little short with it, and the outlet. Yarborough will leave it back for Brandon Wharton.
A nice job screening out by Lee as he grabbed that rebound.
Good stop for Tennessee.
Nice again. Nice play by Jackson. They're going to say he held on.
And Seth says, hey, Yarborough held him as he got the steal. It'll be Altron Jackson's first.
You got to love the young guys that Seth has, though. The aggressiveness. Right here, the step in. I tell you what, they pretty good read. A little small change, and Altron, I don't blame you. A friend of mine's here today, Ed Donahue, coached Calvin Murphy at Niagara, coached Pat Kennedy at King's College. He's the one that saw Pat and said, you know what, you shouldn't play, you should be a coach. but he was talking to me about David Zimmer and Florida State. They got players, he said, they're doing it here too. They are going to be a factor in this state. You can see by these young guys.
And one of the guys he was on very early as a high school player was Bobby Sura.
Through Eddie. Eddie was a friend of the family's up there in Wilkes-Barre. Ooh, nice steal.
Jackson. He couldn't quite.
I believe on Jenkins, and the other on Torrey Harris.
Torrey was standing underneath, not really knowing where Arthur Reeves was. Watch him at the end of this play, number 5.
Well, the elbow started, and I don't think Reeves did anything illegal as Jackson steps in, and then the jam at the end, and that's he just lands on him a little bit, and now this is a little insult to injury, and right there Don Rutledge was going to say, okay, let's slow it down, and then Jenkins got into the mix, and all of a sudden they had to call something as Shad got a little exuberant. I think they just called one. I thought they called them both.
Well, Torrey Harris got one. You would think each team got one. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, they did. And then the arrow takes over.
And a double technical foul on number 40, Torrey Harris, and number 23, Cedric Jenkins.
So Harris gets a personal, and then the double technicals on Harris, which gives him 4 because T's count, and Shadrick Jenkins. So USF will get a slight advantage here with some initial free throws. The arrow does belong to Tennessee.
And now the explanation for both coaches.
Don Rutledge sorting things out with Seth Greenberg and Jerry Green.
Jerry goes back to his team after he sees the explanation, and right here you get this is just an aggressive read. The whistle had blown already on Jackson in there, and you can't blame Harris too. He feels it's a rub-in. The whistle had been blown a couple of seconds earlier, and right there was no problem.
And all the officials are right in there.
And then Chad came in and got a little disruptive with Torrey, and that was the end of that.
So Altron Jackson, these should be from the personal foul. He will shoot 2.
Gotta make them. You're down by 10. You've got less than 7 minutes remaining.
A little crawler, but they'll take it. Yeah, and now
it should be Tennessee possession.
Right, with the arrow. And of course the fans a little upset that took place, but that's the rule.
54-45 Tennessee. And what could be an important possession for them on the road. They've done some things late in ball games that have cost them a game or two close. Here's Lee. Almost traveled with it. Hathaway. Mismatch. B.B. Walden on his back. Here's Wharton driving. Hanging. Shot block. Walden. He finds Ultron Jackson. Asbury the trailer. Yes.
Oh, what great self-control. Jackson has been some spark for this team. Terrific understanding. Didn't rush. Didn't make a mistake. Waited for the trailer.
54-47. Lee on the wing for Tony Harris. Wharton flashes out top. Jackson watching Rashard Lee, who's an outstanding athlete. Slashes in. Can't knock it down. Walden the rebound. Almost traveled. Almost got fouled. And Hathaway with the
empty trip after a great defensive block.
Tony Harris on top for Hathaway. And they just checked Yarborough in, Vincent, top of your screen.
And Black's been posting up pretty deep. I would give him a shot.
Now Yarborough runs to the near side.
Side pick and roll.
Ultron Jackson guarding him.
Great show defensively by Walden. Line up for Black on the other side with Asbury.
Harris in traffic.
Pretty look.
Hathaway. A clean block by Chauncey Asbury. And then Yarborough fouls him.
Boy, how many incompleted sequences, huh? Get in the middle, the great look. He had choices and not protecting, exposing early. And not too bad a play by Asbury. They don't go away, Bob.
The Bulls only 9 of 17 from the line. South Florida borrows the Tennessee strategy with the blocks today. Volunteers averaging 9 a game. And I guess it doesn't matter how they go as long as they fall.
Oops, the top of the hour.
Thank you, Larry Beal, Bob Carpenter, Bill Raftery back here in Tampa. A lot of basketball yet to be played in this game. B.B. Walden sneaks in and picks up an important basket.
Well, he's played extremely well the last few minutes. Good understanding, not fouling. Excellent pass by Smith. And then the aggressive nature, something Seth, I think, brings to this program. Guys getting in position to dominate, to finish. Hang around. That's the philosophy, and that's the counter by BB. The slip, and then the follow.
USF a 17-7 run over the last 8 minutes. And with 3:47 remaining, they are right where they need to be. When you consider they were down by 14, 12 on numerous occasions. Here's B.B. Walden.
A pretty good match for him with the dribble. They should clear and let him go.
Yeah, against C.J. Black, who's a shot blocker. Jenkins on top against Harris. This is Cedric Smith. Oh, little deflection. Tony Harris picked him. No, that was Wharton.
Yeah.
Picked him clean.
A little experience there. Got to protect it all game, but late, it's essential.
That could be the defensive play of the game. Wharton drives to the right perimeter. Nothing there for him. Yarborough the pass fake. Back to Brandon. The switch by Jackson. Shot clock to 10. Harris on Jenkins. Wharton. Yarborough for 3. Big shot for the Volunteer.
Onions for a freshman. Oh, my goodness. How about the dribble penetration snuffed out? They still get a counter.
Asbury. Chauncey is fouled on the way in.
Might be Black.
If it's CJ, he's gone.
That's who it is.
I've got him for 5.
Yep.
CJ Black. That is 5.
You can't beat the defense by USF snuffing out any penetration, but the kickback, a little nylon. He has been tough all afternoon.
C.J. Black fouls out with 2:44 remaining. 8 points and 7 rebounds. So you look at Vince Yarborough. It's going to be up to him and some of the other guys to at least keep the scoring going. They'll check in their big fella, Charles Hathaway, a courageous young man himself, coming back from the medical red shirt last year when he had the blood clot in his right shoulder. So CJ's gone. They bring in Hathaway and get a little bigger.
And the brain trust there thinking the same things. Chris Ferguson, Byron Samuels, Eric Pauly, who we've seen play a little bit.
Bulls. This to get it back to a 4-point game.
Give it a gamble here with that 1-3-1. It's been effective. They went back to man, got them going again. A big rebound.
Oh, Cedric Smith picks it up.
Bring it out and run something. Seth getting a signal in. Dive.
Jenkins on a high pick by B.B. Walden.
Pick and stay.
Against Hathaway. Should be able to beat him on the dribble. And underneath, it's B.B. again.
What a read by him, though. Knew he had the big guy. Ended up with a good shot under control and then in position to counter.
3-point, 1-possession game.
And the 1-3-1. Not a bad wrinkle right here. See if he can force a deep one and a rebound.
Harris travels.
It worked. Nice call by the bench.
They'll check Ultron Jackson back in. Their scorer off the bench. As Seth has the offense-defense shuttle going right now.
Yeah, Reeves out, the defender and rebounder.
Unbelievably, Jerry Green's team could give up the lead right here. They had not been tied or behind since the first minute of the game. And here comes USF with a chance to equalize at the 2-minute mark.
And Jenkins has to organize now. Don't be in a hurry. Tough little look. Nice play by Wharton.
Left wing, Ultron Jackson. Dribble penetration. The stop. Short. Got his own. Draws the put it. I think Florida willing themselves back into this game.
And great defensive stops and changes have enabled them to take care of it.
B.B. Walden with 10 points in this half. UMass and Georgia Southern, the 1AA football championship game. Charlie Steiner, Todd Christensen standing by. We'll get it there as soon as this one's over. When will that be? Jackson got them both. 1-point game with 1:51 to go. Tennessee timeout. The Bulls are right back in it. I'd say it's 6-0. They're Bob Carpenter, Bill Raftery at the Sun Dome in Tampa. The home team is back in it. The Duracell storyline, and isn't it fitting? They have not run out of energy today, Billy, when we thought they might be dead.
Solid. I mean, just never packed the tack, and I think the spacing of B.B. Walden by Seth enabled him to play more, take care of quality minutes versus getting himself jammed up in foul problems.
Critical possession for the Volunteers now. Tony Harris. Yarborough, bottom of your screen. He goes to Wharton, left wing. Richard Lee's in there. Hathaway down low. Two big fellas have fouled out. The shot clock inside 15.
And Walden with great inside fronting.
Wharton almost forcing it. Lee, shot clock at 6. No, it's a blocking foul on South Florida.
Good call. A real good call. Jackson's so emotional. He's over to Don Rutledge begging a little bit late and not in position.
That'll foul out B.B. Walden.
I just mentioned his ability to play quality minutes without fouling, and that's that one that's a little too deep. And plus the sliding never established.
11 points and 7 rebounds for B.B. He'll just about be a sophomore by the next time we see him when they take on Cincinnati here in late February. It'll be interesting to see how he progresses between now and then.
And those numbers are with very few minutes on the floor.
At crunch time.
And part of it, I think, is a terrific defense. They know how to take you out of what you want to run. Excellent fronting when Tennessee was trying to get it in low. Blitzing the dribble on a pick and roll. They're just playing passing lanes.
Aaron Green fighting his nails. That was Chris Ferguson, Byron Samuels, Eric Pauly, Jerry Green's assistants. And
Bob, part of the problem for Tennessee is they switch little to little or small to small and big to big. I mean, it's really thrown them off their sets.
Bulls down by 2. This could be the possession they've been waiting for to get this thing back even. Shadrick Jenkins. Good passing lane defense by the Vols. High post now, Smith. Left wing, Chauncey Asbury is open.
Jackson likes to get some things done. I mean, nice post pass. See if they get some help.
Shot clock at 10. Air ball. And the ball hit the baseline before anybody could grab it.
And not a bad look either. As you mentioned, Seth's going offense, defense.
So he'll get Arthur Reeves back. Who's his leaper and rebounder. One of his real nice role players, Charles Hathaway, by far the biggest volunteer on the floor.
Now this one's clocked and good shot for Tennessee.
45 and counting. Volunteers with the ball on top by 2. Wharton for Lee, the swing for Harris.
Everybody's got a rebound for South Florida.
Shot clock just under 15 now. Shot clock at 7. Harris for Lee. 3 way long. Jackson the rebound. Final 20 seconds. And the Bulls, they couldn't ask for anything more than this, considering they were down by 15.
And they're going to play. Jenkins to the rim.
Stops. Shoots. Yes! Tie game! Volunteers with a chance to win it here. 5 seconds. 4. Harris. Short. Over the baseline.
They can't score.
Stays with Tennessee.
Can't score.
No, not with 2/10. You cannot score with less than 3/10 on the clock. Torrey Harris will check in.
They're going to throw it up and tip it.
Some sort of tip is all they can do.
For the Bulls, number 32.
We are 2/10 of a second away from overtime. Let's see what the Volunteers can do. You got to think the ball's going to go straight up in the air somewhere. It can't go out for a shot. It's tipped, but it was USF, and this game is tied after regulation.
What courage by USF, and sets out at half court applauding, and now backs off. And this was one of those games you felt they didn't have a right to win. Couldn't score, outmanned on the boards. Extraordinary.
So we're getting ready for overtime here. Let's get an update from Larry Beal in the studio. We're 60-60 in regulation. 5-minute overtime coming up. And Larry, for now,
deny the basketball. All of the terrific understanding of the opponent set up an opportunity to tie it. And the big thing with Tennessee, they're trying to do it with the dribble. They don't have a post-up game. They're going to have to do their continuity in motion, crisp passing, and maybe slip somebody in the box. They haven't been able to turn on a pick and roll or get that Harris penetration.
South Florida down the stretch outscores Tennessee 24-11 over the last 12 and a half minutes to forge the tie. Tennessee has 2 full timeouts left. South Florida has 3. No 20s left, and we start the 5-minute overtime with Tennessee and the basketball. Richard Lee, nice dump down. Hathaway, yes.
And a foul as well. Well, that's a pretty good setup by Jerry Green. They had been on the ropes, not able to run their trips or sequences in a proper fashion, but a walk-up by Hathaway, the size, the ability to turn and catch and finish exhibited itself.
And Charles Hathaway, his first basket of the game.
Not amazing.
Guy averaging 8 points. He'll step to the line where he's a pretty good shooter, 66%. The big guy's got a touch, but he misses that one.
One basket, that's a tribute to the great post defense of South Florida.
Jenkins, who hit the game-tying shot. Oops. No cut on the wing by Jackson. And the USF turnover. The thing you can't do here, Billy, if you're the comeback team, you've spent so much to get back here, you can't let your concentration lapse when you get into OT.
Well, the thought just occurred to me, and we used to fool around with Dean Smith about having the center touch it out that high. He let Montrose have it. that puts a lot of pressure on that guy to make that pass. He's got to be good at it. And that time, unfortunately, a little difficulty in the communication.
Home team giving it up for the 20th time. How many times can you do that at home and not lose in regulation?
A little better motion here. A little box to box by the big guy inside.
Yarborough for Harris. 3. He almost banked it. That's how much he missed
Pretty
it
pass.
by. Lee finds his man. The miss on the back door by Yarborough, and the Bulls escape. Chauncey Asbury triple teamed, and Hathaway stuffs him.
And look at him run the floor.
3-on-2. He's the trailer. Brandon Wharton finally gets a basket.
And you know, no show all game that he's upset with himself or emotional about his inability to convert. Just kept playing. So far, Hathaway stepping up pretty big, Bob. Offensive end and that block on the defensive end.
Volunteers by 4. A minute and a half into overtime. Jenkins. Ooh. Wow, is he feeling it?
A little deeper that time. That was a major league release.
14 for Shadrick, the only senior on this club. He's a panhandle guy out of Pensacola, and they're down by just 2.
And Hathaway doing a great job walking his guy Reeves up the lane and then back down. Look at the duck in. He's got him if they can get it to him. Watch him work down there, folks. 5-5 on your screen.
Tony Harris, Brandon Wharton, flashing on top, Richard Lee. Hathaway posting up, baseline drive, the scoop.
And then Hathaway keeping his guy busy, and he's asking to come out. He's exhausted, the big fella.
He's had a hand in everything here in the overtime.
Even that little play, just circling, getting the guy high, opening up the dribble lane.
Asbury for Jenkins. He's the go-to guy for the Bulls now.
You notice a lot of a little clear for him.
Why not? He wears 23.
That's right, and he plays for the Bulls.
Yep. Harris stuffed him. He got it back, though. And the switch on top. Chauncey Asbury clocked down to 2:20 or so. The 3 won't go for Jackson. Arthur Reeves can't grab the rebound, and Mr. Hathaway is a very busy number 55 right now.
And tired, too. He put the fist up earlier. He's going to have to compete. They got Harris waiting to come in for him.
Yeah. Don't forget, UMass and Georgia Southern next on the gridiron for the 1AA championship. Jerry Green needs a timeout so that Charles Hathaway doesn't fall over here in Tampa. He is gassed. And right now, the Bulls down by 4. 2:04 remaining in OT. And a very busy man is Charles Hathaway of Tennessee right now.
Well, you mentioned they got the respirator out, but he steps his guy up because Reeves has to help out or stay on him. He couldn't help out, but the speed and the involvement totally. This is what looked like Jenkins, maybe an offensive rebound. Well, Hathaway protecting. This is at the point where they've got Harris on the sideline waiting to come in for him. He was exhausted. They go 1-3-1, set that pack and attack.
Speaking of football, the Volunteers, of course, looking forward to the Fiesta. Now we've got one less timeout.
Look who's in there again, huh?
Tony Harris.
Stepped up twice now.
Tony Harris.
They're going to run their quick hitters now. See if they do back screens. There's back screen on a wing and a flare. Quick hitter. Bang.
The 3. Jenkins. 17 for Shadrick. 11 of those in the second half.
How impressive is he?
Well, he's showing that senior leadership. A great rebounding guard. Played a couple of years at JUCO ball in Coffeyville, Kansas. A good program.
He's got a ticker is what he's showing me, Bob.
Yes, he does. 68-65. A minute 15 to go. Yarborough's had a big game for the Vols. Way long. And the rebound for Chauncey Asbury. Who do you think they're looking for here?
I'd say Jenkins at some point. See if they can run a play for him.
Yeah, he doesn't have to get the first touch. Raheem Brown down low. They go 1-4 here. Penetration. Chauncey Asbury stop cold. And the Bulls pick it up with Raheem Brown. Kind of a sloppy looking play there. Jenkins fouled by Tony Harris.
Charles.
Whistle. Somebody in there?
Oh my goodness. They go the other way with this one. I don't know if they give it to Reeves.
Yeah, it's a foul. It's not a lane violation.
No.
The free throw counts.
If any consolation, the clock doesn't move. And I don't know if they let Hathaway, 66% shooter.
So a 2-point game, 49 seconds even. Arthur Reeves, the defensive guy, will shuttle out as they get Altron Jackson back in.
Now, you see that? They were trying to get Yarborough to the line. Clever. Hey, ruse.
Seth wants another timeout. Miami and then St. Joe's. They shot poorly and lost that game to St. Joe's. Still seems to be some confusion about who takes the free throw here.
Yarborough's trying to talk him in, but I'm not sure who was on that side on the lane.
Well, you would think that Hathaway would be the man down low on the defensive free throw, and that's where Arthur Reeves was.
Just Hathaway, that didn't look like too good a stroke.
And the other thing, Torrey Harris will come in if he makes it. So Charles does give Jerry Green a chance to get Torrey Harris into the game by making the free throw. 3-point game, 49 seconds remaining in overtime. Georgia Southern and UMass off to an offensive start on the gridiron in Chattanooga. We're going there as soon as this one's over. Here's Jenkins, 3-point range. Cedric Smith picked up his dribble.
Tough pass.
Yarborough. Then Jackson fouls him.
And what a tough pass across the top, 20 feet. And Jenkins, I was thinking he makes the back cut, let him post up, which they run so well, but the replacement is too distant for that type of pass. Unfortunately, the step and go, and then all of a sudden, Jackson has nothing to do but foul Yarborough. And he gets his chance now on the free throw line. He wanted it earlier when Hathaway was the proper guy.
By far, Vincent's best offensive game of the year. His previous high was 11 against Tennessee State. So today with 22, couple of rebounds and assist.
Thank you, young man. Thank you.
He's another guy who will be so much better by the time we see them play in February.
And they've got a chance to be better, too. And right now, once in a while, they get out of sync on trips, and you get a guy having a terrific game and known for a pretty good stroke at 62%.
Jerry's got to have this one to at least make it a 2-possession game. That's a big one for the Vols. They lead by 4. 35 seconds remaining.
And the challenge for Seth Greenberg now is to find Jenkins. He does it on his own. Good help.
Loses it. Richard Lee.
And I don't know why Lee didn't give it up.
Yeah, he had a guy way down the floor.
Don't look for the foul. Give it to him. You get it. It's over.
The foul on number 10, Johnson Asbury.
The dribble. The misuse of the dribble. And Seth knows that tough turnover right here with the scraping defense, and he doesn't have many answers. Trying to reverse and turn and make that little jumper, the little sniffing, and Richard looking at the pill instead of the sprint out.
Oh, brother. They could have had an easy 2 at the other end. Now he's got to hit this one to put his team up by 5.
A quick hitter now.
Either way, 2 or a 3, they need a quickie. They don't have to have the 3 here. Jenkins stops.
And looking for
Smith for 3. Short. And the rebound fouled is Wharton with 14.4. It'll be tough for the Bulls to dig their way out of this one.
Very tough. An emotional game for them. Guys responding. A lot of people playing that you just don't have the depth or the rotations necessary. And just an extraordinary effort. Looking at Frazier there, he couldn't do much.
Brandon Wharton
Down to Kenyatta, who just been here for a few days. I mean, it's amazing the lack of depth right now with all the injuries for Seth. And yet Tennessee trying to find themselves, trying to right themselves. A couple of answers at key times. I thought Hathaway turned it up, as did Harris late.
Brandon Wharton comes up with 4 points in overtime. Final 14 seconds. By 7, Tennessee leads. Jenkins for 3, well short. Altron Jackson picks it up, and that gives Seth Greenberg a chance to call a timeout.
I give it up. Of course, all of this is for later. If you don't win, you can use it later on in the season. Good effort, countered by Tennessee.
Actually, the Bulls on the floor waiting for them to come out. This will be a big win for Jerry Green. He'll go to 7-3, stay in the top 25, get that road win he was looking for. They play UNC Greensboro on Tuesday. And they come down here to Tampa, go to overtime, lose a 15-point lead. We've got a foul by Chauncey Asbury with 1.8 seconds remaining. That'll be his fourth.
The foul on number 10.
And they're going to win it in OT
Asbury.
And get that 7th win that they've been looking for.
And Bob, when you're looking to grow as a team, sometimes adversity assists you. I think trying to find that sync, coordinating the offense, guys doing the right thing, setting the guy up, reversing the ball when he ducks in. Seth Greenberg's club defensively took them away from a lot of things that they enjoy doing and regularly get away with doing.
Maybe Brandon Wharton can find that stroke at the free throw line.
Well, that would help, huh?
He'll come away with 7 points on the day, 6 of them in overtime if he makes this. So we're getting ready for Georgia Southern and UMass. 75-68 Tennessee. And that's how it'll finish up as the Volunteers go to 7-3. For Bill Raftery, Bob Carpenter, this has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Charlie Steiner on the gridiron at Chattanooga. It's all yours.
Here at the Sun Bowl.